Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head up to Helsingborg here in Skåne in southern Sweden once again. We're going to do another beer from Brewski, who are kind of fairly firing out their beers recently. They're doing quite a few new things actually, and we're having a taste of their Barbarian IPA today. So this one comes in at 6%, it's rated 98 overall on Rate Beer. I think it was 99 within the style actually, but it should be really quite nice. The last couple of beers I've had from these guys, the Little Big Hoppy, which was a pale ale. I've also had the Conan double IPA. They've been really quite nice, so I'm very interested to see how this guy turns out. But they've been releasing quite a lot of new beers recently. Some of them have been re-releases of course as well. I'm not sure if this one is a re-release rather than a new release, but they're doing some new stuff and it's pretty damn good, and all the older stuff that's coming out as well is pretty good as well. So definitely looking forward to this one, and I hope you guys enjoy the review. Of course, this was another one of the beers that came out through the small partiers in Systembolaget here in Sweden. So yeah, so as always with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other Brewski reviews I've done before. No doubt I'll add more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Swedish beer reviews that I've done for you before. That's constantly being added to of course, and as always please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. Always interesting to hear from you guys, and the support that you give the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Brewski then. So Brewski were founded back in 2014 in Helsingborg, and the founders of the company are Marcus Hjalmarsson, Johan Britsen, Alfred Olsen and Robin Skoglund, and all of these guys were really inspired to get into craft beer because of the West Coast American beers and the fact that Sweden didn't have all that many of them when they were starting up, but they really just wanted to brew things that they would actually love to drink themselves. But Marcus was originally associated with a High Nose brand of beer which was brewed at Brewery, and some of those beers are actually still brewed up there, although all of the Brewski beers are now brewed at their own facility in Helsingborg, which has a capacity now of producing about 100,000 litres of beer per month, and they are constantly expanding that of course as well. But in 2016 they also started their own beer festival which is called Brewskival. Hopefully I can make the one this year in 2017, but they invited over 40 different breweries to that. A lot of people really enjoyed it, and they also open up their brewery once a month for their bar, which they call Barski as well. So if you keep an eye on their Facebook page you will see them announcing that event, and like I say, hopefully I can get up there and have a little look at at some of the Brewski things that are going on, because the guys from the brewery seem it very nice when they've communicated to me before. So hopefully we can go up and see them. If you get the chance to try some of the Brewski beers, they're a very good example of Swedish craft beer, and of course it's a Skåne beer as well, which is the region that I live in up here. So yeah, so let's get on to the tasting section of this video then. Definitely looking forward to this one. As I said, I've had some really damn good beers from Brewski recently. It says here, Brewski loves barbarians, old world, barbarians, dwarves and other amazing creatures. We present a hoppy India pale ale with lots of tropical fruit aromas and a creamy smooth finish due to the added lactose. Enjoy this beer as it is or accompanied to your favourite dish. It goes with anything, really just enjoy it. So yeah, this guy comes in at 6%, it's an IPA as you would have guessed. And I don't know if it's going to be, it actually looks a little bit clearer than some of the other ones I've had from Brewski recently, so we'll see how we get on with this. But I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork then before we open it up. I'll bring up the camera, there we are. There you can see, really quite nice, really kind of typical Brewski style artwork actually. They've, as I mentioned to you in the last few videos, they've started putting their beers in these little stubby bottles, and I think they're actually thinner than the other bottles that they had as well, which is kind of quite nice too, so better for the environment. But yeah, you can see there's the Barbarian just kind of enjoying a little sip on his sippy cup there, and this is, you can see of course, the Brewski symbol, the guy with the top hat and things, and he's also on the bottle cap in this one as well. But best before 26th of the 1st 2018, so yeah, best before the 26th of January 2018. They've given it about a year in the bottle, this one. So yeah, as you can see, a nice smoky opening on this one, and we'll get it out and into the glass. And I tell you something, you can smell these nice kind of tropical fruit notes coming off this. It's actually quite apricot-y. I'm getting a lot of apricot from this one as we open it up, and as you can see as well, this beer is a lot less hazy than the other ones I've had recently from Brewski. There is a bit of haze to it, right enough, but it is a lot less hazy than the Conan or the Little Big Hoppy. Actually, I think they were leaning far more towards the kind of New England style IPA and pale ale and stuff like this, but this looks nice. So as you can see, it's a kind of pale golden straw colour, but a bright, at the same time it's almost a bright sort of lemony yellow. There's some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of the head, and you can actually see there are quite a lot of little tiny sediment particles just floating around in this one. You can see quite a few bubbles just going up towards the bottom of that head there, which is actually just a very thin foamy layer, but it is pretty much pure white. But it looks very, very nice, this beer. So let's have a closer look at the aroma then. If you can see, if I can put my fingers behind it, you can see there is a degree of transparency, but mainly it is actually quite hazy, but like I said, not as hazy as Little Big Hoppy or as the Conan double IPA. But let's have a closer look at the aroma of this one then. Ooh, that does smell nice. There's a lot of these lighter tropical fruits. It makes me think, you know, they're using like Mosaic or something like that in this hop. I think there's maybe, it's got these lighter kind of tropical fruit notes that you'd associate with hops like Mosaic and Citra. It's got all of this. I think it's apricot that's sticking out with this one with me. And I think there's a sort of tangerine orange as well. I don't think passion fruit, maybe there is a wee tiny little bit of passion fruit, but for me it's mangoes. There's a lot of mango coming out of this beer as well, which makes me think there's some citra hop in there. Yeah, there's a bit of mango in there. There's a sort of tangerine orange, apricots. Yeah, it's leaning towards, as I always describe it when I talk about the citra hop, you get that kind of mango hit at the bottom, but then in the aroma it always comes across with these really light tropical notes. You know, you start to move into lychees and gooseberries and things like that. This one doesn't quite have the lychees and gooseberries right enough. Maybe a tiny bit of gooseberries, but it really is leaning towards the kind of apricot. There's maybe a bit of pineapple in there as well. It has that lighter, almost pineapple character as well. But yeah, a bit of lemon. There is a bit of lemon sharpness once your nose adjusts to it, but definitely oranges, tangerine oranges, apricots. Maybe a little bit of papaya or something as well. I'm getting a little bit of that almost kind of reedy, that sort of reedy aroma that you get from papaya. But it's really nice. Just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this one. Underneath, of course, you can smell a bit of the white bready malt. You can smell a little bit of that kind of slightly milky, creamy kind of lactose thing too. But really, of course, the focus is on the hops. There's a bit of grassiness to this one, but I'm not getting the too much of the floral character. You can get a little bit of it at the back of the nose. You can pick out that little spicy floral character that this beer has. But other than that, it really is more leaning towards these lighter, nice, juicy, tropical fruit notes. So just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this beer before you get stuck into it. But we're going to have a go at this one now. So this one is the Barbarian IPA from Brewski Microbrewery up in Helsingborg here in Skåne in southern Sweden. Let's tuck into this beer. Skål. That's pretty good. That is quite nice actually, but it's definitely interesting. And the reason I say it's interesting, if I go back and think about the Little Big Hoppy, for example, the Little Big Hoppy, if I was to taste it blind, I would have guessed that it was an IPA rather than a pale ale, whereas if I tasted this one blind, I would guess that it's a pale ale rather than an IPA. The double IPA, of course, the Conan double IPA was pretty obvious, although it was on the lower side of the double IPA things. But for me, this one, it's a lot lighter than the other two that have been out recently. Yeah, I think it's fair to say that it does come across as a lot lighter than the other ones. It's a very easy drinking and very, very smooth IPA. That's the first thing you're going to notice about this one. The malt base is very, very simple. You know, you've got a little bit of bready character, and you're also getting the smoothness that you'd associate with the lactose in this beer. But that's really nice. It is pretty good. It's not quite, to me, I'm not finding this one quite as big in flavour as the Conan or as the Little Big Hoppy, but it's more of a subtle beer. And you know, from what they're saying on the bottle, you know, that it kind of goes in tune with what they're saying. It's a bit of an easier drinker. It's meant to have a kind of broader range of flavours rather than being very, very punchy, and it certainly hits that note actually. So in terms of the hoppy side of this beer, I'm actually getting a teeny bit of earthiness in the back corners of the palate. As you come further forward, it's a bit darker and more floral, maybe even a touch of spice in there, but you can feel some herbal aspects to the hop coming out as well. And then as you go round the front curve of the palate, it's distinctly lighter and more grassy. But yeah, this is nice. If you get the chance to try it, have a go. Like I said, it's nowhere near as punchy as some of the beers you're going to find from Brewski, but it's more an easy drinking and very good one. It would actually be really cool to have this beer in the summer when it's hot, and just have something that's nice and kind of fruity and just a little bit bitter. It's pretty good. I have to give them that. You know, it is this one. As I said, the difference between this, it's not quite as big and punchy as the other two they've done recently. It's more, you can see it, this is more of a kind of food pairing beer. It's meant to have a slightly almost broader flavour. It's not meant to be as punchy in any one regard, but it certainly is nice. The way the hops come out and they start to linger into the aftertaste too. You've got that floral character, the slightly spicy floral character just starts to build up a little bit as the flavour progresses in this beer. You can feel the herbal aspect and a bit of the earthiness sitting there too. The lighter grassy notes fade, but then if you just go behind the front curve of the palate, that's where you get some of the nice fruity character coming out of this beer. There's a little bit of I'm getting a little bit of grapefruit just kind of underpinning that. On top of it, once the flavour starts to progress, you can get a little bit of a kind of orangey, kind of tangerine thing coming out of this one. But it really, again, like the aroma, it leans more towards these lighter, more tropical fruit notes. You know, there's a little bit of mango in there, and that starts to just come out in the aftertaste a bit more. There's apricots. I'm not getting so much of the pineapple right enough. I'm not getting so much pineapple in comparison to what I got in the aroma, but there's a wee bit of a kind of lychee or gooseberry, and some of these almost, I'm getting a little bit of a, how do you say, like a little bit of papaya coming out of this one as well. It has that almost reedy kind of character that you associate with papaya. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's really nice. It surprises me a little bit that the grapefruit comes out in this one. You can just feel that kind of bitter grapefruit and almost slightly passion fruity, oily character just underlining the fruits. There's a bit of orangey character, like I said, and then it starts to move into the things like the apricots, maybe even a little bit of peaches in this one, I'm not sure, but it really does start to push in towards those kind of lighter tropical fruit notes in the aftertaste. And the things that are lingering, like I said, it's the earthiness and some of the kind of spicy floral and herbal character that's coming out of this beer. I'm not getting so much in the way of piney resins from this one, but in comparison to the other two that have been out recently, this one's a lot lighter and it's a lot more easy drinking. So in terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I would say this is probably somewhere between light and mid-bodied. Carbonation's moderate, of course. It's actually got a very smooth mouthfeel. It's a mix between oily and kind of slightly creamy, which is quite interesting. It'll be the lactose that's coming out in the beer, of course. But pardon me, you've also got you've got a nice hoppy bitterness. This one, like I said, that lingers into the aftertaste. The malt base is very smooth, not quite sweet. Some of these lactosey IPAs can be a little bit sweet. This one isn't. It's just kind of straight up smooth, and there's some nice juicy fruits just behind the kind of front curve of the palate there, and it's more leaning towards the hoppy kind of bitterness, which is what you'd expect from Brewski, of course. But again, it's another very, very solid beer from Brewski. They really do produce some very, very nice stuff, but it's not quite as punchy as the Little Big Hoppy or the Conan Double IPA. So if you want a more easygoing take on one of the Brewski beers, then this is probably one that you want to go for. If you want something that's a bit of a heavier hitter, then go for Little Big Hoppy or go for the Conan Double IPA, but they're all very, very good beers. So yeah, it'd be really cool to try this one. Cool to try something that's a slightly different approach from Brewski as well. But this is the Barbarian IPA. Thank you for watching my beer review. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. If you have tried this beer for yourself, do let me know your own thoughts on it in the comment section below. It's always great to hear from you guys. And until the next time, Slanger just now. Make sure you try some of these Brewski beers if you're interested in Scandinavian beer. It's a very good place to start actually when it comes to Swedish beer, and they're starting to get into brewing these nice kind of New England style IPAs, so there's some really interesting stuff to come from these guys, and no doubt I'll review more of their beers in the fairly near future. Until the next time, Slanger just now, and I'll catch you guys very, very soon. Make sure you check out some of these Brewski beers because they're pretty damn good. Cheers.